of new topics, and thank you, Asba. And I thought that, it's a good time to also share whatever I am learning with all of you. I'm definitely not an expert on the topic, but I still think I believe it is my, responsibility to share as I am learning and contribute back to the community. So I hope all of you take away something from this session. Very, very open to feedback. So during the session or maybe at the end of the session, please do share your feedback so that we can tailor the rest of the other two, like the other two workshops in this series. So your candid feedback is most welcome as we go along. So with that, let's jump right in. Asba already shared the agenda, but very quickly, I did want to do a small ice-breaking activity just to get to know all of you in the room. Today's session is a little theoretical. We'll go over some foundational AI concepts, and I'll explain in a second why that is important. If we have time, we'll do a short Q&A after that because it's a little theoretical, so maybe some things may not be fully clear, so you can ask any questions. And after that, we'll jump right in and, try some of the things we have learned. I'll take you through ChatGPT. I know many of you would have already, set up an account, but there are some settings, some personalization features which you may not have explored. So I'm going to do a deep dive into ChatGPT, show you some of the different settings, and then we'll just get started with some prompts. And then towards the end, we'll do a quick recap to, just summarize everything that we have covered today. And like I said, would really love your candid feedback. And of course, if there are any other questions, we can address them at the end as well. So with that, let's jump right in. I would really love to know. So the name of the activity is AI in my life and my imagination. So two questions for everyone in the room. First question, have you used AI for any task? It could be any personal or professional task. If you have, then it would be great if you could just describe it in 1, 2 lines. If you haven't, that's fine too. And the second question is, what is one thing you wish you could do with AI? So if you could just quickly, maybe over the next 5 minutes, share these answers in the chat. And of course, please share your name, a very short, like what do you do and your location. And I'll just, as we go along, read some of the answers. Okay, amazing. A lot of people have used AI tools for research writing, college assignments, digital marketing, making notes, content writing, for writing code. That's lovely. Okay, so lots of AI use already. CV enhancement, that's lovely to see. Wonderful. Making websites, that's a lovely use case. Press releases, applying to jobs, making content for LinkedIn. Great. Great. I would love to also see what would you like to use AI for? So the second question, what is the one thing you wish you could use it for? If any of you would like to share that, that would also give us some ideas of, what you would like to know more about. Okay, so teaching you soft skills. I'm seeing a few editing videos easily. Okay. What else? For coding, website designing, absolutely. For research, ChatGPT is my new Google. I love that. That's a good one. Brand growing and expanding to become your personal assistant. Scheduling content, that's an interesting one. Okay, great. So thank you everyone for sharing your inputs. I'm very glad to see a lot of you are actually already using these AI tools. And it's also good to see that there are things that you want to learn and you want to be able to use ChatGPT and tools like ChatGPT for. We'll also learn today how actually, we won't learn that today, but in the last session, we'll go beyond ChatGPT and explore some of the other AI tools as well. In today's session, you'll get a sense of um, what is some of the technology behind these tools, and that will also help you make some informed choices around for what task, what kind of tool would be appropriate. So we may not be able to cover everything today, but it's very helpful for me to know what is your interest and what kind of things you would like us to cover in the upcoming sessions. So with that, let's jump right in. Okay, so the next few slides are going to be a little text heavy and a little theoretical. Please bear with me. If you have questions, you can drop them in the chat. And like I said, after this maybe 15-20 minute section, I'll try to be quick, but I also don't want to lose, I want to ensure I give you enough information so that it makes sense. We'll do a short Q&A at that point, and then we'll jump into our hands-on exercise. So starting very quickly with what exactly is AI, or as we know, artificial intelligence. It's essentially a computer system capable of performing tasks that traditionally require human level intelligence or cognitive ability. So any area or use case where we feel that there is a need for logic, there is a need for recognizing complex patterns, those would be applications of AI. It is not just about automation. So automation has been around for a while, like since the industrial age. In factories, in our daily lives, we would see lots of examples of automation, but those are one way to think about it is that in automation, there are clear rules. So if X happens, then Y should happen. There's a clear logic. So like when you write a piece of code, there is some input, there is some output. It's all predefined, it's all well defined, and you can expect a very clear output to whatever input that you are giving. Artificial intelligence, on the other hand, is doesn't have the same kind of um, like the same kind of principles. So there is logic and there are rules, but the output is not always going to be predetermined or always going to be as expected. So just like with humans, if when you ask someone a question, uh, they might answer in a few different ways. The answers will all be correct, but it would still have an element of difference that comes because of the individuality of the person. So that is an analogy that you can use to see the difference between automation and artificial intelligence. So some of the applications of artificial intelligence are in recognizing complex patterns, like identifying faces. So very human-like capabilities, right? As humans, we remember faces, we are able to recognize them. We are very good in detecting, differences in patterns, detecting anomalies, for example, making informed decisions. So recommendations are a key area in many products that actually requires artificial intelligence. So, for example, when you go to Facebook or Instagram, your feed looks different from other people's feeds. It's very personalized to, what did you see earlier, what kind of interests you have, who are your friends, and things like that. So that if it was only automation, then everybody's feed would look like the same. So there would be a certain set of rules and everyone's feed would look exactly similar. But that is not what happens. What actually happens is that there are AI models which are running in the background, which use very real-time information from you as the user, and then your feed gets generated, and also your feed keeps changing. So the more time you spend on the platform, it keeps becoming different and more personalized. And a third example is responding to diverse requests. So for example, generating content. Many of you have used AI for generating content. So you would all relate to this example where if you give the same prompt on a different day, the result will be slightly different. It won't be incorrect. It would have the same maybe overall effect and overall impact, but there would be differences in if you ask the same prompt, even one after the other, there would be subtle differences. So yeah, so responding to diverse requests, generating content, understanding natural language, these are all, different outcomes of AI. So essentially, it represents a broad spectrum of capabilities. Not going into too much detail and, trying to keep this as less technical as possible. But if you have questions, please do drop them in the chat. Couple of other terms that you would have heard of. Many times we use these interchangeably also, which is okay. A lot of people do that. But since we are having this session, I thought it would be a chance for us to just clarify what these terms mean. You would have heard them used interchangeably, and it is fine, but it's better for you to, after this session, probably use the right term in the right context. So AI, you can think of as the broad world in which we are currently, we are talking about artificial intelligence. Within the broad framework of artificial intelligence, there's a subset called machine learning. There are other types of ways through which artificial intelligence is generated, one of which is machine learning, but there are other techniques that exist in the world as well. Now, what is machine learning? Essentially, it's a way of training a model. It's a technique through which computer systems are enabled and programmed to learn from data without explicitly giving them instructions. So machine learning algorithms are able to therefore identify patterns and make predictions based on new data. To give you an example of how this is different from other algorithms or other techniques, so those of you who are probably from a math or a stats or a economics background might be familiar with econometrics or regression, for example. So in those techniques, we have a function and we define what the different parameters of the function are. And then on various values of, x, or the different variables, we get an outcome y. So it's very rule based, it's very defined, it's clear how much does one factor affect the other. So this is what and therefore prediction is built on top of that. So econometrics is one way of or regression is one way of predicting what might happen. What happens with machine learning is that the number of variables, the number of constants are so many that it can no longer be defined in the language of humans, or the number of variables are so many that you wouldn't have a single equation. The equation also keeps changing as new data comes in. So what essentially happens, you can imagine a black box, which is the computer, and we basically throw a lot of different data at it. The data itself could be text, it could be images, it could be videos, it could be math data. So various kinds of data are fed into the machine, and then the machine itself looks for patterns and different kinds of it. There are different machine learning models as well, basis which it processes this data and then creates some. And then that can be used for predictions. It can be used for finding patterns and things like that. So that's what machine learning is. It's a technique through which we have artificial intelligence. We can generate artificial intelligence. But like I said, there are other methods as well. Now, using machine learning, we have a specific type of AI application, which is generative AI. So as the name suggests, generative means something is getting created. So generative AI are AI systems which can create new content. So unlike some of the other models which are mostly for detecting, so for example, if there's a model which detects fraud, we don't expect it to generate new content. We are only expecting to give it some information and for it to find some data points which seem odd, and therefore it can highlight to the user that this is potentially a fraud case. So that is one separate, tangential example. Generative AI is like ChatGPT, for example, is a tool that you can use to for generating, whether it is, and ChatGPT does text and images. We have other tools for video, for audio, and presentation. So there are a whole bunch of different tools that you can use for generating content based on a user's instructions. So that's what generative AI is. And there are other kinds of AI as well. So autonomous vehicles, for example, you may have heard, companies like Waymo, where the whole vehicle doesn't have a driver. Like you can, just like you book an Uber, you book a Waymo, it will come to you, you can sit. And in the whole experience, it's just the computer and the car that is driving. There's no human, element over there. So that's not an example of generative AI, but that is an example of leveraging AI models, leveraging AI for a real world application. So the whole world of AI, within which there is ML, within which there is generative AI, and then specifically for the use case of text generation, we have large language models. So AI systems, like I was mentioning that black box, right? AI systems which have been trained on a lot of text data there are AI systems which have been trained on a lot of different types of text data, and basis that they are able to generate human-like language. So we have GPT, we have Claude, we have Llama. These are the different large language models and tools like ChatGPT. So ChatGPT itself is not a model. GPT is the model. ChatGPT is the tool that we can use to get the output that we are looking for. So those are large language models. And again, Claude and Llama are some other models. Essentially, these large language models were the turning point. So AI has actually been around for a long time. Okay, maybe not long time, but at least for the last 20, 30 years, there have been a lot of different, there's a lot of research that has been going into this. It's a whole field of computer science. Why this has all become a big, topic is when in 2022, towards the end of 2022, when ChatGPT came out with its first model. It was leveraging GPT, I think at that point GPT-2, and we were able to converse with it. Like you would have a text input, and then text output was generated, which was leveraging these large language models. That is how that was a big turning point, and at which it's become quite popular, not just in India, but around the world. So that's a little bit about large language models. Now, an important thing for all of us to know is how do these large language models work? And the reason I'm going into these details is so that you can develop an intuition to what is actually happening in the background. And depending on what it is that you want to do, you'll be able to then have some ability to judge whether, is this output good or not? Is this the right way to be using this tool or not? So, just for you to be able to be a more informed user of AI tools, it's good to know a little bit what's happening in the background. There are, of course, a lot of papers, a lot of like YouTube videos, for example, that you can watch to really get into the details of it. And I would highly encourage you to do that, especially if this is an area of interest. But if you are looking to only have, enough, if you are looking to only know enough so that you can use the tools effectively, then even this much background is potentially enough. So coming back, how large language models or LLMs work. A large language model is essentially, think of it as so it's a neural network that has been trained on a large amount of text data. There's only one fundamental principle that we need to remember. Its operation is predicting the next word. So this whole model, think again, black box. This black box has been trained. It's a brain. This brain has only one goal: predict the next word. It doesn't have to predict the right word. It doesn't have to predict, a good word. Like, some outputs, we as humans think, okay, this is the good output, this is the bad output, this is factually correct, this is factually incorrect. Those are all human judgments. For the model, um, it has only one goal, to predict the next word. And if I might add, its goal is also to predict the next word as quickly as possible. So when you use, tools like ChatGPT, you would see that what we are expecting is an answer quickly. Like, we want it, you ask something, you want it to respond, almost immediately, or at least start generating a response immediately. Because it does that, it's the idea is that predict and predict just the next word and predict quickly. So this is just an example. So before going into the example, if I were to ask all of you, and feel free to use the chat to answer, complete this sentence. A friend in need is a friend in. Perfect. A friend indeed. Honesty is the best policy. So we all know these patterns, right? Like, we have heard this so many times that we don't have to think. We just know honesty is the best. It has to end in policy. A friend in need is a friend in deed. Like, we just know that that is going to be the next word that comes. This is essentially what an LLM is also doing. A car drove into the, so there are some options. It could be parking lot, it could be parking garage, it could be driveway, it could be drive through. But what it knows is that in most of the examples that it has read or it has been trained on, it is the car drove into the driveway. So that 0.3, 0.7, you see, are probabilities. So 30% of the time it has seen the answer is parking, and after parking the next word is parking lot, and 70% of the time, the answer has been drive, and after drive, it's been driveway. So what the model is essentially doing is, the car drove into the dash. It's just thinking, okay, what is the next word that will come based on all the data that I have been trained on. So essentially, an LLM doesn't really understand the questions that you are asking, or whatever you are asking it to generate. Based on all the data that it has been trained on, it's predicting what are the next words that would be correct, or that would be appropriate to what you are asking. This is, of course, a very simplified understanding and a very simplified view. But the fundamental principle remains the same. There's a lot of coding and a lot of software that's added on top of these models to create tools like ChatGPT. So, like I shared earlier, GPT is the model. GPT would do this job that I'm talking about, the predicting next word job. ChatGPT is the software on top of that model where you are able to interact. And there are a whole bunch of, when we do our hands-on, I'll show you some of those as well, where you will see there are some nuances to this. But going back and keeping this simple, the important thing for us to remember is large language models are essentially prediction machines. They work on predicting the next word. And okay, last slide with theory, and then we'll take a 2 minute or maybe 5 minutes Q&A break, and then we'll jump forward. The last thing is understanding what an AI can do and cannot do. So based on everything we have learned about AI, machine learning, generative AI, large language models, and how large language models work, I hope it's giving you a little bit of a sense of what AI would be good for and what it will not be so good for. So some of its strengths, especially of generative, specifically actually here of generative AI, is being able to draft content based on instructions, summarizing information. So if you have a book or a large PDF and you just want to know what are the, let's say, top 2, 3 things that you need to know, it's very good at summarizing information. Translating between languages is another big UI AI use case, that is there. And similar to drafting content, brainstorming ideas, coming up with suggestions, that's another area where AI can be leveraged AI can be used for these use cases. Of course, even when we are using it for these use cases, human expertise is required, oversight is required. So, very, very important to always check whatever the output is, read through, make sure that, there are no errors. The errors often won't be grammatical, the errors would be factual, the errors would be, and then we'll talk about that as we are doing our hands-on exercise as well. But those are things that the AI, like tools like ChatGPT, are very good at. Some of its limitations, that, like I was sharing, there is no true understanding or consciousness. So even though we are chatting, it kind of feels like you're talking to another human. You're asking questions. It's also responding to us. The tool is built in such a way that it feels like a conversation. It's not transactional. Often ChatGPT would even address you by your name, or it would say you're doing a great job, or it would say thank you and please. So it really, companies like OpenAI have spent a lot of time in trying to make this sticky and conversational, and it's a nice user experience. But at the end of the day, actually, there is no consciousness, there's no understanding. There's no, and the last one here also, right? Like there's no emotional intelligence or judgment. So the LLM has no judgment actually. The tool, they have definitely created some safeguards and some guardrails. So for example, if you ask ChatGPT, how can I make a bomb? It's not going to answer that question. Does it know the answer to that question? Yes, it actually does know the answer to that question based on all the information that it has been trained on. May or may not be correct information, but it has an answer. It will always generate an answer, whatever question you ask. But of course, we know that, there are some questions which should not be answered, or which should not, we should have some discretion over those answers. So OpenAI has created those guardrails and is um, it's a whole series of work, like ethics in AI, that is an ongoing thing. So if you remember, back in 2022, 2023, people were asking these kinds of questions to ChatGPT and were getting answers, and there was a lot of hue and cry about, is this really safe? Is this the kind of knowledge we want to be sharing in the world? And that's when companies again went back and cleaned up their act. So it actually, has no emotional judgment, emotional intelligence. Another important limitation is that a lot of these models are limited to the knowledge from their training data. So again, if you think back to a few years ago, often answers would be, I have been trained up to, I think, 2018 or 2019, and I don't know about the most latest information. Today, and we'll see this when we check out ChatGPT as well, it does have web search capabilities added on. So the ChatGPT tool has web search capability, and because of that, we are able to get more, recent information. The LLM itself actually hasn't been trained on this most recent information. Why is this important to know? If you're doing something that requires very latest knowledge, sometimes the answers that it produces may not be factually incorrect, may not be factually correct. AI models are very prone, not very prone, but are sometimes prone to producing incorrect information. Because it's not actually fact checking, it's not actually, doing any thinking around, is this a good answer, is this a bad answer? So hallucinations, as we call them, are basically answers that are produced by predicting the next word. They are not actually checked against, some actual reference. And therefore, that's a limitation that we have to be aware of, especially because these models are, they know as much as their training data knows. These tools add the ability for web search, but that has also got its own, sort of limitations. So I'm going to take a short stop here. Maybe let's do 5 minutes or so, and answer any questions that, folks have. Um, okay, I can see there are some. Just give me 1 minute. I'll try to find the first question. Or maybe I'll answer the most recent question. And Asba, if you can just help me identify some of the questions, that will be helpful. Okay. Now, when I Google something, there is an AI overview of everything. How do I make sure my brand shows up in the search? That's a good question, Mohsin. It's actually something called. So we've in the past we have to do search engine optimization. Now there is a whole, uh, you know, uh, it's called, I'm forgetting exactly. I think it's called GEO, generative engine optimization. And the idea really is that there isn't a clear science, just like with SEO, there wasn't a clear science. Um, a lot of common knowledge now suggests that the things that worked well for SEO will also work well for GEO. And the idea here is that whatever ChatGPT is sharing, it's also sharing based on the internet. So if you're anyway going to be doing well on Google, on Yahoo, on all the search engines, then there's a good likelihood that you will do well on generative, like making sure that your results come up on these generative tools as well. Can AI only be presented as a chatbot like ChatGPT? Can't it be presented in a more practical, hands-on way? I'm not sure I understood the question. Um, but ChatGPT is essentially a tool. GPT is the model. The model can be used for various things. So, for example, at Wisdom Circle, we use GPT, which is the model, to so when somebody uploads their profile or uploads their resume, we want to tell them that these sections are clear and these sections are not so clear. So we use the GPT model to show the user that these sections in your profile are can be improved further, or you can do better. So there's no chatbot, there's no chat GPT, there's no chat interface. It's simply a suggestion to the user that this thing in your profile needs improvement. That's an example of leveraging GPT models outside of that chat kind of interface um, for real world use cases. I hope that answered your question. Please feel free to add a follow up.
There is this one question which I am able to say multiple times, that where exactly the chat GPT or any AI tool collects the information from, how reliable it is it fact, it check facts, or what is your thinking about it?
So, um, it doesn't check facts. All the GPT models, whether it is so all these AI large language models, right? Large language models like GPT, like Llama, like Claude, have been trained on the internet. Unfortunately, they don't actually tell us what parts of the internet. And when I say internet, I mean I'm saying also broadly books on the internet, research journals on the internet. Many of them have actually been trained on, journals which are paid journals. So we might not have access to them, but the companies have paid and gotten access. There's also a bit of, sorry, I'm taking a slight sidetrack, but there's a bunch of current litigation that's going on because like book publishers, for example, are not happy that their books have been used for training the AI because companies didn't actually purchase the books, but then they trained their AI, so they're able to, use these. So, sorry, there's no like clear answer to what is the data sources. A good way to think about it is that anything on the internet has at this point actually been used to train these models. Asma, what was the second question you had asked apart from the sources?
Yeah, it's the same. Another question, Joanna, it's regarding what do you think that chat GPT will be able to sense negated statements in near future? I mean, it's okay. I'll tell you the whole question. There
Mhm.
is still exist scenarios where people double negate the statements to these unethical questions, and then Chat GPT still fails to follow these guardrails and come up with answers. Do you really think sooner Chat GPT will be sensing this?
Yes, I do think so. And the reason I believe this is there are actually a whole bunch of new roles getting created. So again, slightly longer answer, but please bear with me. The world of AI is also evolving. So, and this might be interesting for some of you who want to maybe explore a career in AI or are thinking about, okay, this is interesting. What do I do? So a whole bunch of new careers are actually, coming up. So evaluations, for example, is a new role. It didn't exist before, but it's existing now. Ethics in AI, experts in AI are whole new roles which are coming up. So there's a lot of work being done on improving these guardrails, improving these, earlier it is true that, and maybe even right now, it is true that if you ask a question in a certain convoluted way, the chat GPT might actually answer it and give you, answers. But in the future, I'm very certain that we would find ways, and actively there are people who are working on these problems to find ways to protect. Because think about it, we will soon have, even now we have children using these tools, and there's a lot of emphasis on how do we protect children from, content which isn't good for them. The other aspect is governments. Like we are seeing a lot of new AI policies, coming up. Even in India, for example, there's a new policy about how AI can be used in judicial scenarios. So governments are also getting very proactive about where it can be used, how it can be used, how do we safeguard, data, how do we safeguard people. So yeah, I'm confident that it is only going to get better as we go along.
Another question, Joanna, we have is it true that GPT is basically collecting human patterns of consumption and ultimately used for marketing?
So at this point, GPT So GPT is a model. It is going to get trained on data. It depends on the product within which it is used. Um, so GPT itself is not going to give you marketing data, right? Like marketing information. Like that's it's a model. It just think of it as it's sitting in a black box. When companies like Facebook, actually Facebook uses Llama, but like let's say Wisdom Circle, when companies like Wisdom Circle use GPT, we can use it in many different ways. We can use it to analyze the data of our users and say, give them recommendations of jobs. So Wisdom Circle is a jobs platform for senior professionals. So what we do is we analyze the data of our customers, their behavior, and then we recommend roles and say that based on your interest and your work experience and where you are located, this job would be correct for you. And we use GPT models to do that. Can we use it for marketing? Yes, it is possible for us to use it for marketing. But it then depends on the company. Is that, in line with your privacy policy? Is that what your users are expecting, etc.? So the GPT itself, I think, has got no marketing angle to it. The companies that use these models can use it for marketing 100%. Like Instagram, for example, shows you ads, right? Like that is an example of using your data for showing you marketing related content.
How is ChatGPT tool different from Google search?
Uh, So Google search, like right now, you get the little overview summary thing, right? If you go back, what it was doing was it was SEO, like it was basically in like searching through the various web pages that there were and showing you the top pages that there are. So Google search was essentially looking at various web pages and then highlighting to you without going into exactly how search engine works, it essentially shows you the most trusted sources, and you as the user had to go through that information. There was no generative, it didn't create new information for you, it didn't create any summary and all of that. Now it has started creating that. ChatGPT is a conversational tool, so you would ask it a question based on everything it knows, it will give you an answer. I know there are lots of
Yeah,
questions.
can
Um,
move ahead, I guess.
yeah, so what we can do is, I know there are a bunch of people very thoughtfully have raised their hand. I can see all of you actually. Um, what we'll do is maybe we'll quickly finish the rest of the presentation so that you have access to it. I'll also try to be little fast. And then maybe we'll spend the last 15 minutes, I'll try maybe last 20 minutes answering questions. These are all very, very good questions. And I really do want to answer them. And if I'm not able to cover them in this session, I will, Asba, if you can just share the meeting chat with me, I'll ensure that in the upcoming session we answer these. So please forgive me even if I'm not able to answer today. Some of this will also get covered actually in the next two sessions. So I'll make sure that if today it doesn't happen, we don't forget to answer your question. So I'll just move ahead so that we finish the content and then we'll come back. Um, I'm really happy to see all the engagement, genuinely. It's nice to see that, people are thinking and people are asking questions. So thank you for engaging, everyone. Um, okay, sorry, I'm just setting my screen up. Um, So getting started, this part of the session is meant to just show you a couple of things on ChatGPT, what is possible, and then if you are inclined and feeling up for it, I would really like you to use it as well during this session. If you're able to, you have access to your laptop or your computer, and just want to try some of these prompts. Like, please feel free to do this. Anyway, we'll share this presentation, so you can always don't like you can always try this at another time, and I would highly encourage you to try this and share how things went. So very quickly, creating an account is simple. Visit chat.openai.com and sign up with your Google or Microsoft account. You can choose a plan. There is a free tier. There's a new Go tier as well, which literally came out a couple of days ago. There's the plus tier and the pro tier. Um, if we have time, maybe in the next session, I'll show you what plus looks like and what are some of the advantages of having it. Again, for some of our most obvious use cases, the free version works beautifully. There is really no need to purchase some of these other tiers, but I would still like to show you what is possible with those so that you can make an informed decision whether for your particular users, maybe you might want to upgrade. I haven't explored the Go tier yet. Maybe before the next session, I'll do that so that I can give you a little information on that as well. I know it's between the free and the plus, so but I haven't actually checked it out yet. Today I'll be using the free tier so that everything we speak about you can recreate on your end as well. Let's jump into understanding the interface and the various settings, and then we'll try a few prompts. Like, I want to share a little bit about prompting. The next session is a lot more detailed on prompting and how do you write different types of prompts for different use cases, and some other prompting techniques. Today's is very, like, this is basic, like um, everyone should use this basic understanding of prompting. We'll do some advanced stuff in the next session. So let's get started. Once you log in and you create your account, it's going to look something like this. um, this is to just open and close the sidebar. Like in the free version, you can't actually change your model. In the plus version, you can also change the model that you are using. And different models are good for different types of tasks. Then here you have a turn on temporary chat. So everything that you chat with on chat, like in every question or every session that you start, all the chats, like they're called different chats, those will all show up over here. But if at all you want to have something that, is not visible later, or it was just a one-time thing, then you can use temporary chat. It's like going incognito in your browser. So that's that. This is where you can ask your question. Voice works really well. So if you are walking, or you just want to do a mind dump, do try the voice mode. It's actually quite good. Um, then new chat starts here. You can search your chats. So for example, if you had done, let's say, some resume updating work, some time ago, and then you have a lot of chats, so you can't, but you want to go back to a particular chat, you can use that. Um, Library is essentially like images that you may have created. They will show up over here. Sora is a specific image generation, space that is available to all ChatGPT users. So you can use it to create images, videos. You can look at what other people have created as well. So try these. It's especially if you want to check out. You don't actually need to go to Sora to do this. You can also create images directly over here. But check out Sora. It's actually sometimes it gives you ideas of what is potentially possible. So do check that out. GPTs, if you have not checked them out, is another good place. Essentially, you could think of these as customized chat GPT. So the chat GPT that you have access to, this is general. You can ask it a coding question, you can ask it a interview question, you can ask it general history information, or ask it to summarize something. So it's very general, all use cases. The GPTs that are available here have been created by different, not just by, so some of them have been created by OpenAI, others have been created by other people, and they have shared these GPTs for all of us to use. So depending on your use case, if it is writing, then these are some GPTs. Like Chat PRD is quite nice if you are a product manager and you're looking, specifically to improve your PRD, or you want to think of edge cases. Like that's a nice GPT to use for that purpose. So they have a whole bunch of different sections. Someone was asking about video editing, I think. So you can maybe check out something over here. You just click on it and it will open. Uh, I'll just, yeah. So this is essentially what it is. So then you ask questions, whatever you want to ask. So now you're in a specific window. By you can go back by clicking on the home icon over there. So GPTs are specific to specific use cases. So there's programming, there's lifestyle, there's education. So do check these out. Um, if you are keen on making a GPT for yourself, which again is a little, it depends on your use case. Maybe you don't need it, but maybe your organization. So, for example, at Wisdom Circle, we have a custom GPT that answers questions about retirement. So, a lot of our user base are senior professionals who have either retired or are thinking about retirement. And then they have very specific questions about career transition, financial planning, wills. Like it's very specific to what they are looking for. So for that purpose, we've actually created a custom GPT which answers questions related to retirement. So maybe your organization might have some use case where you might want to create a custom GPT, but otherwise, I think for personal or maybe individual use cases, might not really be needed. There are lots of them, so feel free to check them out. On the Plus plan, you can also create your own GPT. Mm, yeah, I won't go into too much detail over here, but check them out. They're actually quite interesting, and different people have created them. So this is again contributing back to the community. all your different chats that you have done would appear over here, and you use the search to search through these chats. I just want to show you a couple of things that you may not have checked out and just explain what they are. Customize ChatGPT. So you can share this information with ChatGPT to make the responses more customized. So, for example, you can tell, what should ChatGPT call you? My name is Joanna. So now it will, when I save this, it will respond to answer, like it will respond to me with my name. What do you do? I can say I am a product manager. You don't have to actually share all this information. It's just, if you do share these, the responses get more personalized. It knows more about you. So, for example, when it knows that I'm a product manager and I'm asking a question about Instagram, then it will share more information related to, the product technical details, some like user aspects. If I just ask a general question, it will give a general answer. So these are not must do's, but it is good to check these out and play around. What personality should ChatGPT have? The default is cheerful and adaptive. You can also change the personality of the tool, and then if you try cynic, the answers are like a grumpy librarian babysitting your curiosity. Just try them. Like try change the personality, ask a question. You can see the difference in the answers, and um, it depends on what you want. For most cases, just we can just stick to the default and not do anything. You can also add some traits, so especially people may be doing content creation. Maybe at that time what you want is a witty Gen Z kind of response. So instead of adding that to your prompt, you can just change, like you can customize chat gpt here, and then like if you just say talk like a member of Gen Z, use quick and clever humor, be chatty. So then you don't have to keep adding this to your prompt. Like it will just know that this is what you are looking for, and you can always come and change it. Anything else that ChatGPT should know about you? So, for example, if you want to share that I work at XYZ company, this is what the company does, it'll just help give you answers which are much more in tune with what you might be looking for. So that's that. And last May, okay, this is good to know. I will show you Canvas in the next session. It is a good, um, if you've not used Canvas so far, it's a good one to use. So we'll do this in the next one. But this is what I was mentioning. ChatGPT capabilities is web search. It helps you with code. There's a Canvas mode, which I'll show you next time. And there's the advanced mode. By default, these are all checked. And because of this web search, you're able to get more, you know, latest information that is available today, even though the model has not been trained on that data. The model was trained, I don't remember right now till what time the models have been trained. But they keep changing. Like GPT-5 just came out, so that would have been trained likely till some point in 2025. Some of the older models, if you go back to GPT-3 or GPT 3.5, they've been trained till I think 2023. So yeah, but then with the web search capability on, they are they feel like they know everything that is happening right now as well. So yeah, do try customizing your uh, exit. Do try customizing your GPT and see what happens. Settings again. One thing, you can check these out. One thing I wanted to show you was around data controls. Yeah. Uh, Improve the model for everyone. I've turned it on off. You can turn it on. But basically, this is the space where, um, so by default, this is on. What does that mean? It means whatever conversation you are having with ChatGPT can be used by OpenAI to train its model, to make its models better. Now, in most cases, it's totally okay to leave this on because, you know, if the conversation is general, then there's no problem. But if you are, doing something with company sensitive data or some kind of information that is not available on the internet, and maybe your employer doesn't want it to be available on the internet, then make sure you switch this off so that your data is not used to train the models. It's just something for you to know. By default, it is on, and the expectation is that, and the reason is that we are, as users, contributing to improve the model. That's essentially it. For most cases, it's also fine. But if at all at any point you are using, like you're doing something that is sensitive, then be careful and just switch it off over there. Um, you can check out some of the other settings as well. That was the only one I definitely wanted to, show you. You can delete all your chats at any point if you feel like something you may have shared in the past that you don't want the model to be trained on, then you can go and delete it. Okay, so that was a quick overview of what all is there. There's quite a lot beyond just the chat, so check it out. We will do a little bit of some prompt exercises. Again, I think given the audience and some of the answers that I saw in the beginning, you've all probably tried something like this. So I won't spend too much time, and we can maybe do more Q&A. So crafting effective prompts. You may have read these in other places. There are a few different ways to go about it. And like I shared, in the next session, we'll do more on prompting. This is just like the foundational rules, the basic rules that you should keep in mind. Being specific and clear. So if you say write a post about X versus write a 200-word persuasive social media post promoting a new eco-friendly water bottle brand, the output would be very different in both cases. So the more context we give, the better our response is going to be. A lot of people use the analogy that think of ChatGPT like the new intern that joins your company. Until you give the new intern enough information about the background of your, like just background information about clients, about the company, about what are the processes, where is the data. Unless you give all that information, it's only going to come up with super generic stuff. That is really true for these tools. If you ask something general, the output is general. If you ask something specific and give more information, the output improves significantly. Being specific and clear, providing context. So if you're asking for something specific, giving it more information, like if you're asking for a recipe, then is it for breakfast, lunch, or dinner? Are you a beginner, medium level, or advanced cook? Giving those pieces of information definitely helps. Using frameworks like act as a dash also helps improve the output. So act as a product manager, act as a branding expert, act as a marketing coach, like those things help improve the answers that it shares. Um, Actually, now that the models are getting better and better, what we are seeing is that the prompt writing isn't as like you can get away with writing not so good prompts because the models are getting so much better. But still, it's good practice to know how to write a good prompt, even though you can actually get away with not writing a very good prompt as well. Um, the last one is, whatever output has come, iterating and refining it. Like if you feel like the tone is off or it's too long or something like that, then getting getting ChatGPT to improve it can help getting a good output. What I have next is just starting with some like general prompts to improve your resume. So um, basically you can start with this kind of prompt, like, here is my current resume, review it for clarity and impact and give me suggestions. This prompt will work. It will give an output. But if you give a prompt like this, right, you are a career coach that helps candidates improve their resume, highlight their strengths, put their best step forward. Give it context. I am interested in applying to product management roles. Here is my current resume. Review it for clarity and impact and give me suggestions for improvement. This prompt will likely give you more tailored suggestions. This will work. You will get actually very good, like at least very decent suggestions. But when you give a prompt like this, there is a clear difference in the quality of the response. So that's why it's good to kind of, give more thought when you are prompting. Um, what I can do is quickly show you what kind of responses, and then just uh, I'm sure many of you have tried, this kind of exercise. I'm just going to do it anyway in case there is someone who has not tried this. It'll just give them a good sense. Um, I'm just finding, yeah, I had kept this ready. You can upload multiple documents also, depending on your use case. And yeah, so it will take a little bit to generate the complete response. You can see from here that it's not, fully done yet. Yeah, so you get like, actually, I should have shown you what the resume looked like. Let's see. We're also at 12:10. Okay, I'll not show you the resume, but let's look at the answers. Work experience, like specific examples of how you can rewrite some of your work experience so that there is a better impact. For this work experience, the suggestion is to add impact metrics. There are some examples. um, there's some feedback on the formatting, on the style. So yeah, like basically it would give you some good suggestions on how to improve your resume. So you can take it step by step. And then once you're done, another good step is to share your result, ask it to check again. So you can have a back and forth with, so you have asked it to act like a career coach. So in the same way, coach has given you suggestions, you go and implement the suggestions, share the output back, and then see, how it works. One shortcut I'd like to show you is, let's say you wrote the prompt and you realize that maybe you made a mistake in the prompt itself. Like you wanted to write something like, यहाँ पे I've written product management roles. Actually, it's something else. What you can do is, instead of copying it here, copying this whole thing, pasting here, you can actually go and edit the prompt also. It's just a faster way of doing things. So you just directly, it'll take time again to generate the response. That thing won't change, but uh, social media content creation rules. So it will generate a result again. It'll take its time, but you didn't have to copy and paste it again. You can, just do it quickly if you do it over here. The previous response is going to become invisible. So if you want to keep previous responses, don't use this method. But if you know that you obviously made a mistake in the prompt itself and you don't care what came up before, you can go and edit it. That's a simple way. Another thing another hack is ask ChatGPT only to improve your prompts. So help me improve this prompt. So here is an improved prompt. Again, you can see if this is making sense, this is not making sense, and then use the prompt. So you ask ChatGPT only to help you improve your prompts. If you feel like the outputs are not exactly what you were looking for. Um, we'll share this presentation so you can use some of these, and it would be nice if you can also improve the prompt further and make them more contextualized for yourself. Some of the other things ChatGPT can help you with is tailoring your resume, like the last one for a, like I was doing product management roles. You can also tailor it to specific roles. So if there's a specific role at a specific company you're applying to, you can use this kind of prompt to say I am interested in this role and then insert the link to the role. And it will help you tailor your resume to that role. Um, making your resume ATS friendly. ATSs are softwares that companies use to screen resumes. So it's important that your CV is ATS friendly. So make sure you get ChatGPT to check that in your resume. Drafting cover letters is another time consuming task, which at least it will help you get a first level in. So those are some use cases. Um, Enhancing your LinkedIn profile. Just in interest of time, I'm not showing you how to do these, but do try them. Here, what I wanted to highlight was getting examples, getting multiple options. So it helps you also think. So normally, if you ask ChatGPT a question, it'll give you one answer. Typically, it will give you one answer. If you specifically say, give me three options, it will give you, multiple options with slightly different tones, slightly different focus. And I think that gives you also better options to select from. If it's not critical, like if you're drafting an email, you can chuck it. But if you're drafting like a LinkedIn headline and an introduction and all, it's good to just ask for a few options and see, what works best for you. And most importantly, please remember to review and personalize any AI content. The goal is only to help you get started. Uh, it cannot replace the effort required to do a good job. So please spend some time, fact checking and making it your own. Like people are getting very good at recognizing AI generated content. It is so generic, and now people, especially hiring managers, are able to see what is AI generated and not just able to see as in they've developed an intuition for it. So even if you're using these tools, make sure that you are um, reading and changing the tone such that it suits you, like it's the way you talk. uh, so yeah, that's a quick one. I'll stop here. Let's do a quick recap and then we will break for questions. Quick takeaways. What we did today was understanding the technology, getting a little bit of understanding on limitations, on capabilities, start experimenting, begin with basic prompts, and gradually you can try more complex instructions. And like I was saying, most importantly, human oversight is essential. So always review, fact check, and personalize content before using it. Um, we'll stop here. Would really love. I'll keep answering questions, and for everyone else, if you could drop in your feedback, like what worked, what didn't. I think there's a feedback form also, so you can, if you want, share your feedback over there. This is my email ID and my LinkedIn. Please feel free to connect. I would love to connect with all of you. If there's something specific you want to share with me, please feel free to email me. The next workshop is 1 month from today. So I would love to see all of you there. And now we will get into the questions. Asba, can you help me a little bit with finding the questions and just directing me to the
Yeah.
right ones?
And till then, we would really like everyone that we are sharing the feedback form with you. This is the attendance form and this is the feedback form. Please feel
Perfect,
free
perfect.
to fill it in as first. Yes, it will help us mark your attendance, and at the same time, it will help us to tailor the next two sessions. So we have something more for you in the coming sessions. But yeah, it would always be good to hear your feedback. So we genuinely need your feedback. So please take out 5 minutes fill out the feedback form. At the same time, the form will close as soon as the session will end. So please feel free to try to fill the form in the next 2 to 3 minutes. It'll hardly take 3 minutes. And regarding the questions, I would like to invite everyone. Please feel free to raise your hand. This is your space. So we'll briefly try to cover most of the questions. So yeah, we have a few questions in the chat box, but at the same time, it would be really good if you can raise your hand and ask the question yourself. So, cool. I would like to hand it over the question floor to Sayyida Sadika. Please be brief, and you are going to ask only one question at the same time. So please be mindful of everyone's time. So yeah, over to
Sure.
you.
Thank you, Spa. Thank you, Joanna, for such a wonderful session. I had couple of few questions, but I'll just summarize it one, as Asba said. My question was OpenAI is opening an office in India, is what is the news now. So what roles can we expect and how can we, work on those to get a job there? And also to ask about like GPT model, where is it available and how we can use it to make our own chatbot? And do you include that also in your session, in the upcoming sessions? Can we expect to see how we can make our own chatbots? If yes. And also when we create this images through chatbot, I see that, the LinkedIn gives us the credentials, it credits. So how can we bypass that one?
I don't know the answer to your last question. I actually haven't tried that. To your second question, wait, what was the second question?
You spoke about GPT models, so I
Yes.
was wondering like from where we can use that, and also if we basis that we can create our own chat models,
Correct.
chatbots to be specific. And
Yes.
are you gonna include that information in your upcoming sessions or maybe a separate session on it?
Yeah. So you can check out all the models on OpenAI. I think it's openai.com, or you can just Google exactly where. Um, all the models are available. There's a playground also, so you can try different models. There is a whole section on, um, I'm forgetting if it is called creating chatbots, but it could might just be around responses. So you can check that out. Essentially, this is the access that companies will have, that companies get in order to leverage the GPT models in our products. So, for example, Wisdom Circle has an account on OpenAI where we use the different models for the different use cases. Um, and right now, I had not planned on covering this as a topic. But if this is something that a lot of you are keen on, just let us know in the feedback form and I'll figure out how to include this maybe in the third session on creating chatbots. It's a little advanced, not impossible, of course, but it is a little bit beyond, what we would call foundational uses. But if it's of interest, please put it down in the feedback form and then we can address that. To your first question on OpenAI opening an office in Delhi, honestly, don't know more than what you know. I think they have posted a few roles on their careers page, so you can check it out. Maybe use the prompts we talked about in today's presentation to, see how your profile fits with those roles. If you want to apply, you can improve your resume, draft a cover letter, and all using some of these prompts. Um, I, of course, don't know the exact plans they have and what kind of roles they may be hiring for. But there are lots of, companies now, both in India and abroad, that are looking for people who know how to use these tools. Of course, today's session and the next two sessions are more foundational in nature. We're not going into the technicalities that much. But I'm hoping this will give you at least a basic level understanding so that you can take it forward. So there are lots of YouTube courses, free courses available, and all of this. So you can definitely upskill yourself and apply to these roles.
Over
Thank
to
you.
you, Romana.
Thank you.
Am I audible?
Yes. Yes, go ahead, Romana.
Hello, Anna. How are you? Thank you for this workshop. And I am a certified data scientist, currently seeking job in this field opportunities. And my question to you is, will AI replace a data scientist in near future? and how should I upskill my skill according to this field, like AI using for data scientist?
So, thank you for asking that question, Romana. I think many of us are, actively wondering how does, will AI replace developers? Will AI replace content writers? Will AI replace, some other field, some other profession? Short answer is, um, no, but if we are not able to provide the value that employers are looking for, then we might be facing, certain risks. Data science in and of itself is, of course, and a big field. I don't know exactly what you do within that field, so it's difficult for me to answer that question. What I would suggest is if you speak to your peers and maybe people who are a few years ahead of you in their careers who are leveraging AI, they may be able to answer your question in a more specific form. Um, but coming back to, do I think data scientists will get replaced by AI? No. They may get replaced by people who leverage AI better than they do currently. So I think it's really important for all of us to at least know more about this topic. Whether you use it or not, and to what extent you use it, is a personal call that you will need to take based on your personal interests and professional interests.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question? So I'm from medical background. So I
I
just
can't
want,
see you.
yeah,
Sorry, I don't know your name and I can't. But go ahead. Maybe just tell us your name and ask your
yeah,
question.
Gayatri.
I'm Gayatri and I'm a medical graduate. So if I want to create a chatbot, like which is different, not ChatGPT as such, like I want to use it for medical conditions as such, like do I need to learn coding or like can I use the same ChatGPT and then like derive my own product without being associated with the company?
So anybody can leverage GPT models for their own products. We do have to pay for it. So there is so basically OpenAI has these APIs that anyone can leverage. You pay to use the model, and you can embed that in your product. Certain amount of coding will be required. You might not need to do it yourself, but if you know someone who can help you, then they can create a wrapper around it. Another way to do it is you can explore creating a custom GPT, but especially for something like legal, finance, or medical, which is very it's technical, right? You're not looking for
Yeah,
generic answers like social
it's
media.
patient specific, so that's why I want.
Correct. Correct. So I wouldn't recommend doing a custom GPT kind of approach. What you can do is leverage GPT models. There are actually some other models also which are more appropriate for medical research. I don't know their names, but I did read that somewhere. You can explore that further, but you would then need to create your own, product as such for this, like for
Thank
this.
you.
Thank you.
So for everyone, we are sharing the screen for a while with the QR code through which you can fill in your attendance and your feedback form in case you are facing any issues. Until then, you can just go ahead and ask the questions. So over to you, Lakshmi.
Yes, I have posted my question in the chat as well. Just that I wanted to know I have heard there are a couple of AI tools which can teach you a particular subject, say mathematics or anything, like a tutor in a structured manner from a reasonably secondary level to the higher level. Can you suggest any such tool to me?
So you can use actually ChatGPT as well for that purpose. If you know exactly what is the content that you want to, get better at. Other tools are Notebook LM that you can explore. It's very good for
Which one?
Notebook LM.
Okay,
So I'm just writing that down in the chat. You
thank you.
try that. But again, you'll have to experiment and see what works best for
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sarah, you can go ahead.
Hi.
Hi, Sarah.
So my question is, I recently read somewhere that Sam Altman has said that your prompts that you use in ChatGPT or responses that it gives you, it can all be used against you as an evidence in legal proceedings. How true is it, and should we be scared?
I mean, if you're not using ChatGPT or asking questions that are questionable, I don't think you need to be scared, to be honest. I am not aware of the specific piece of news. I don't know if it can be used against you in legal proceedings. So I cannot answer that question. What I do know is that all of the prompts and the conversations you have can be used for training their model unless you go and switch off that setting. If you switch it off, then you can use it for more sensitive information as well, like maybe company data, financial data, for example, right? Like which maybe you don't want the world or the internet to know. But again, are the chats private? Yes, the chats are private. Other users cannot, come and see what you are chatting about. But I don't know the answer to your specific question of can it be used in legal
Yeah,
proceedings.
yeah. I'm not concerned about the private information that I share. I just want to know that the CV, mostly the CV that we analyze using ChatGPT, I don't want that information to be used by somebody like my
Correct.
CV, my education. Right. So that's what concerns me sometimes.
Correct. Correct, correct. No, makes sense, Sarah. And I think you, as the user, have to take that call on whether you want to share or not share. Like one practice could be when you're sharing your CV, don't share the phone number, don't share the email ID. You
Mhm.
can always add that before you send it out to whoever you need to.
So if we just switch it off, the setting that you said, would that only
Yeah.
be sufficient? Right? Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ina, you can go ahead.
Hi, thank you. Hello, Joanna. So
Hi.
I have hi. I have two questions. One is that can non-tech uh, students apply and try to make a career in AI and machine learning? First, and the second one will be how can be AI used in trading? So will there be different GPT models that we can use for trading? Yes.
So when you say trading, you mean like stocks and mutual funds, that
Yes.
stock trade.
Forex. Yes.
Got it. Hina, so I'll answer your second question first.
Sure.
There, so there are some limitations to how this kind of information is available on ChatGPT or Perplexity or some of the other AI tools. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it does have web search capability, and you can very much use it. It can give you the information, but I am not sure if the models are capable of, for example, giving you recommendations of which stocks to buy, which stocks not to buy. You have to use your understanding and discretion in doing it. Like there actually have been a number of experiments on this. Like, can AI do stock trading on behalf of a person? And then how good is the portfolio? What were the returns? And the results have been mixed. Like in some cases, it's very good. In some cases, like it's a complete failure. So I don't think it's that advanced that I would, just give my money and say, here, go invest it in 5 stocks that you think are.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't mind asking for recommendations either. Like I can say, based on the news in the last 1 year, which SME companies in the construction industry do you think are worth betting on? And it will pull up information and news pieces and basis that make some recommendations. After that,
Mm-hmm.
you have to, decide whether that's the right call for you or not. Going to your first question, I think there's definitely scope for folks from a non-technical background to explore careers in AI. Of course, you have to look for roles that are appropriate. So evaluations are a whole bunch of new roles which are coming up, which actually don't require technical knowledge as much. But again, I don't know exactly what your background is, so it's difficult for me to say. But it's a great question. You can ask ChatGPT actually. So share more about your
Okay.
background, share about your like what kind of things you're interested in, and say like act as a professional coach. I want to explore a career in AI. These are my skills. This is my resume. What kind of roles should I apply to? You can take it one step further and also use to do some preliminary research, like which kind of companies employ folks with my kind of background. Then it will tell you some company names. You can go and check out their websites. So use GPT, use ChatGPT to get started.
Oh, okay, sure. Thank you so much, Jana.
Thank you, Hina.
Yes.
So we'll take two more questions. Over to you, Sidra, and then to you, Raj.
Hello,
Hi,
am
hi.
I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. First of all, thank you for the session. It was amazing. I have two questions as well. First is like, is there a way to identify if a content is AI generated or not? And like, do hiring managers actually use another model, or is it just based on intuition? Like, is it AI generated or not? Second question is when you said when you showed us how to explore Sora, you said we can see what other people generated. So is it safe to generate company related or sensitive like posters or stuff if other people if we don't want at that stage for the world to see? So is it safe? Yeah, these are my two
Yes.
questions. Thank you.
So in Sora, I'll answer the second one first and then go back to can companies detect, hiring managers detect AI content. Um, the images that you saw over there, the authors said that it is okay to showcase over there. So if you use it for something sensitive, you can always, I'm forgetting where that option comes. I can check and tell you next time, but there's something specific over there where it says publish or not. So if you feel that you don't want anyone else to see it, just click don't publish. But if you're okay with other people to see, then you can, share. So that's completely on you. The first question you had was, so there are definitely tools available that do detect AI generated content, um, especially used in academic settings where, let's say, you are working on a research paper or a school or college assignment. There are rules about AI usage and to what extent you can use tools like ChatGPT to create content. So do check these specifics before submitting. Um, Coming to specifically recruitment and hiring, um, people are flexible today. So I have not seen any case where someone is rejected, because they used AI to enhance their resume or to enhance their cover letter. But definitely, if you are only using ChatGPT and something very generic in your emails, people will be put off by that. So, like typical, right? Hiring managers have limited time to be able to go through your resume, to be able to go through your cover letter. So, if you're not going to be concise, if you're not going to be consistent, then it will they will be put off by that. So I don't think it's a strict no, don't use it, but it's also be thoughtful in your usage.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank
But
you.
for the academic one, can you suggest what are the tools names or anything? Just
I
to go through.
actually don't know, Sidra. Might be something that you will have to look up. I'm actually
Okay.
not aware.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Over
Yes,
to you,
you,
Raj.
Raj. Yes, you can go ahead.
Yeah, actually, thank you so much. Actually, I got my answer over in a chat box. But the thing is that also I just got to know that there are three more AI tools which are used for data analytics, like Cloud, and there is a Julius. But all those are like paid applications and paid AI. So, is there any free AI that we can use for a data analytics as well as for a coding? Because as you already mentioned, there is a cursor AI which can be used. So, any other AI?
I actually don't know beyond ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, and Cursor what you can use. There are free versions in all of these, but again, depending on your use case, you might be better off checking out some of the paid tools. Microsoft Copilot is another one that you can explore, but again. you as the user will have to take that call. If the free thing is working for you, well and good. But often, for slightly more advanced coding, you might have to buy like a subscription.
Okay, got it.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, Yuvraj.